All right, Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva and Democrats continue to call out Speaker Mike Johnson for not swearing her into office. Grijalva won her special election in Arizona on September 23rd, but the Speaker has given several different reasons, including the government shutdown, as to why she hasn't been seated.
There have been Republicans sworn in during pro forma sessions, so why should it be different for a Democrat?
A great question. There was a unique exception made when the two Florida representatives were sworn in earlier this year after winning a special election. And the only reason we did that is because it was previously noticed for that date, and they flew all their families and friends in for the ceremony. So because they were here and the session got canceled, we just went ahead and did it because their families were here. That's the main purpose of it. But,
so if she flies in her family, would you guys do it?
All of us, she'll get the full bells and whistles. It hasn't been scheduled because
right?
we don't schedule things for pro forma. No, but they're trying to make an issue out of nothing. I've looked forward to welcoming her. She's congratulated for having won her father's seat. He served a long time. She'll have a great career. But, you know, again, these are distractions. We have to get the government open so that we can get all these regular processes working again. That's all this is.
On Tuesday night, Grijalva and members of the Democratic Women's Caucus marched to Speaker Johnson's office to demand that she be sworn in. And Congresswoman-elect Grijalva joins us now. Thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. What else can you do? Let's look at how long it's been since you were elected as opposed to when you might be sworn in. Are there any avenues, perhaps when the government shutdown ends, that you could take to get sworn in?
Well, there's no estimate into when that's going to happen. So my race was certified 2 days ago. It's been 22 days since my election. There are 3 other members of Congress that were sworn in under 24 hours. And here we are on day 22. And because Congress isn't open and the Speaker hasn't brought the Republicans back, there is no negotiating. There is no opportunity to work towards something that is going to, you know, get the government back open.
So you obviously would like to start serving your constituents and can't do that without being sworn in. What do you think the reasoning is behind the delay? Speaker Johnson says we're in a government shutdown. It can't be done. There were the Florida issues where they'd had a special situation. The family was in town, but we're not going to call your family in town for this. So what do you think is behind this?
The excuses are very, depending on the day, they just keep changing. So one time it was that the race wasn't certified, and then where it's pro forma. And so then it continued to highlight the hypocrisy of your rules keep changing. And so there was a whole freshman class sworn in when the government was shut down. So this idea that Congress is not in session is this Speaker making that decision, this Speaker changing all of the previously scheduled voting sessions.
So, Congresswoman-elect, what do you suspect then? If there's no good reason, what is the incentive for Speaker Johnson not to have you sworn in?
Well, the timing is the fact that I am the 218th signer to the discharge petition for the Epstein files. That is the only thing that I can point to that differentiates me from the other 3 people that were just sworn in recently from their specials. And when you talk about those issues and the fact that there is a lack of transparency from this administration, that I think is the only thing that we can all point to that makes me different from any of the others.
And you will be there on the Hill sooner or later, so you will continue to be that 218th vote. So that day is coming. It seems like they're just delaying it. Can I ask you an on-the-ground question in your district of Arizona? I mean, we talk a lot about the politics of Washington, but the job that you were just elected to do was to serve a whole bunch of people in Tucson and Yuma and towns across Arizona. Who do they call right now for constituent services? How does it work?
They are calling one of our senators because when my father passed away and this election was called, all of the offices in district were closed on the 23rd of September. So there is nobody serving constituents. And that is the number one thing that we do as a member of Congress. And so my district has the 3 ports of entry with Mexico. There are a lot of needs, and we're in a government shutdown. So I cannot provide any services. And so fortunately, our senators Gallego and Kelly are working for the constituents in my community, but that's the job that they elected me to do, and I want to do my job.
So, Congresswoman-elect, this comes against the backdrop of the Attorney General in your state warning that she could sue if you're not sworn in soon. Do you think that that is enough to change something here? And separately, on just your day-to-day here on the ground, you're kind of a member of Congress without being a member of Congress. You have an office, but you can't use the computers. One of your staffers had to bring their own printer. I mean, can you talk about that very strange experience?
Yeah, it's basically a space. So the phones are redirected to a voicemail to direct people to either Gallego or Kelly, their offices, for support. We don't have any infrastructure set up. We're not connected to any systems, can't take constituent services. So people said, great, you're in your office, but it's literally an empty space that used to be the one my dad was in. So it's a very different range of emotions that I'm dealing with. But the reality is, if I need something printed, I'm so fortunate that I had somebody that had a printer at home that could bring it in. But I have to stand in security line to get in. I can't be in the rotunda after hours. I mean, there are certain things that you're there and the caucus is making me feel like part of the family, but every turn you're reminded that I'm not.
Democratic Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva of Arizona, thank you very much. We'll be following this. Thanks for coming on this morning.